My name is Wendy Beal, and I live in Antrim County, Michigan. In 2004, my then 11-year-old son was sexually tortured in a private psychiatric hospital called Havenwick, which is located in Auburn Hills, Michigan. Child Protective Services sabotaged 3 years of therapy for my son, who was sexually abused at his dad's house when he was 3. Because of this, I was unable to find any other services for my son. The CPS responded to calls regarding my son acting out sexually towards other children, but failed to notify me of the allegations. As a result, my 10-year-old son stayed the night at his 11-year-old female cousin's house. He was accused of going into her room and touching her private area through her underwear and threatening to kill her if she told anyone. My 11-year-old son was incarcerated with male sex offenders as old as 19 and exposed to many kinds of sexual perversion, such as covert taping and penile plethysmographs. He was forced to write stories called scripts that were about sexual deviance. He was made to read these stories aloud into a tape recorder and inhale 3 ammonia capsules under his nose until he choked. Havenwick also engages in a practice called penile plethysmographs. The boys were forced to put a ring with sensors on their penis and are then exposed to sexually explicit material. While he was incarcerated, he was also drugged against his will with psychotropic drugs he neither wanted nor needed. Our attorney discovered during her investigation that it is a misdemeanor in Michigan to provide minors with any type of pornography, yet Havenwick does exactly that and is rewarded with our hard-earned tax dollars to do so. The facility wanted my son to participate in this as well, but he was released from this obligation because of his young age. After 17 months, my son was released after successfully completing the program. Before my son was transported from Muskegon River Youth Home to Havenwick, he received a rare visit from Antrim County juvenile justice worker Nicole Little. She told him that this was costing the county a lot of money, so he better hurry up and finish treatment quickly or he would be sent to a youth prison. She then felt the need to share that she was formerly employed by Wackenhut and one of their youth facilities, and how a group of boys dragged another boy into a room and sodomized him until his rectum fell out and he bled to death. To add insult to injury, my son found himself on the state sex offender registry. Never mind that he was only 10 at the time. My son has a near-genius IQ, and I was determined to salvage his future. I found attorney Joni Fixel through the National Whistleblower Association, and thankfully we were able to get my son removed from the sex offender registry. Because of the treatment at Havenwick is so invasive, Community Mental Health was required to notify the Human Rights Committee and the Behavior Management Committee of my son's confinement and treatment. I requested an investigation into my son's case after he came home, and the Department of Community Health in Lansing sent someone to investigate. They discovered that none of the required paperwork was in place and that the only requirement was their monthly contractual payment. In other words, they funneled money through their agency and used my child to do so. Antrim County billed me weekly, and they kept some screwy books, crediting me with payments that I did not make. I started an expose on our local message boards on Chain of Lakes Internet. First, they violated my right to free speech and removed my thread from their forum because they said it was offensive. It was automatically archived, and I started a new link on freedom of speech and posted the link. Nobody noticed for a couple of months, and then they took down their message boards completely because I spoke of sloppy bookkeeping in Bel Air, Michigan. I filed a federal lawsuit where we were scheduled to go to trial on April 2012. We decided to drop Antrim County from the suit as defendants because the immunity afforded to state workers would have muddled things up. North Country Community Mental Health settled out of court, and Havenwick offered us a lousy $50,000, which we declined. More than money, we wanted our dignity back. We chose to risk that in favor of an opportunity to have our day in court in front of a jury of our peers. Shockingly, the judge, who had been supportive of the case, coining it the Clockwork Orange case, found a case law to justify throwing our case out at the 11th hour, weeks from jury trial. We had waited more than 2 years and finally saw some light at the end of the tunnel. This shows the corruption and nepotism in our courts and the slavery in which we live. Judge Robert Yonker, U.S. District Court in Grand Rapids, dismissed our claim, stating that we gave informed consent for the treatment, even though the treatment violates Michigan law, and Community Mental Health in Lansing said my child's rights were violated. I was court-ordered in Antrim County Probate Court by Judge Norm Haynes to sign all necessary releases the day they locked my 11-year-old son in a youth prison. My son claimed during deposition that the signature for consent to do covert taping was not in his handwriting. Also, covert taping was never explained to us until it was way too late. Our attorney told me I had 90 days to appeal the judge's decision, but it would cost me another $7,500 retainer, and then we had a less than 6% chance of ever being heard and a less than 1% chance of winning after that. So our justice system is just a joke and a waste of time. Once again, we're victimized by the legal system. In spite of everything, my son is now attending Michigan Tech and is studying electrical engineering and nanotechnology. Recently, he confided in me that he was innocent of the crime that locked him up in the first place, so this was all for nothing.